Over the past few episodes, we've explored core TypeScript concept, classes, interfaces, generics, and much more. Today, we're bringing it all together by building a fun mini project, a task manager app. This project will help us consolidate everything we've learned. Now, before we start, I ran into a small issue with the code that I wrote. So what I had to do is I had to run a couple commands. Basically, I had to run npm install. I had to install TypeScript latest, so I had to run this one. So npm install TypeScript latest, and then I had to set up my package.json to be like this, and then I had to create a tsconfig.json with these compiler options because I ran into a problem where apparently I was using an older version of TypeScript and I used the find method and it didn't really work that well. So be sure to make your directory. So I have a small project here, and in this directory, I've set everything up like this. So I have these scripts. So I'm gonna, instead of running tsc and then the file, I'm just gonna run tsc here. So I'm going to use build. So I'm going to run npm build instead of tsc file.ts. And starting it is just going to run, when I do npm run start, it's going to be executing this command, node.index.js. So get your package.json there and your tsconfig. I had to include the ES 2015 there. So now that we've covered that, let's continue with our task manager. So what we're going to do is basically our task manager is going to do these three things. It's going to add tasks, mark tasks as complete, list tasks in a structured format. All right. That is everything we're going to do. And we're going to use interfaces to define task structure, classes to manage the tasks, and generics to ensure flexibility and reusability. So first of all, we define a structure of a task using an interface. So I'm just going to copy the code that I already wrote. So we have a task here with an ID, which is a number, a title, which is a string, a description, which is a string, and is complete, which is a Boolean. Now we're going to need to write a task manager class to manage the tasks. This class will use generics to ensure type safety and flexibility. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to copy my code in here because I already did some prep work here. So we're going to go over this, right? So the only thing basically I want to do in here, I'm just using generics because I want, but basically everything that goes in here needs to be of type task. So it could be a subtype of task because it's still a task, right? So everything that goes into the task manager extends task. So it could be another interface that implements tasks or extends task, sorry, or a class that implements task, and it still goes into this thing. And basically what we have done here is we have created an array of tasks, and we're going to add some stuff to it. We can mark some stuff as complete if it's there. So if it's not there, we're just going to print this console log. In real life, you might just log to whatever, Sentry or whatever type of software that you use for logging. And then we have a method here which is list tasks. Well, we can also remove this, but just for the sake of clarity, I always like to put it in there because I think it's more nice to be declarative and show what you're doing. But you can also just remove the void. But anyway, all the tasks that we have, we're going to print them and we're going to show them if they are complete or incomplete. So basically that is it for our task manager. Now let's start and add a task. So we're going to add that. And we need to create a new instance of Task Manager first. So first of all, we're creating a new instance of Task Manager. And Task Manager just wants anything that has to do with task here. So we're defining everything to be of type task. Now we have the manager and it has the function add task here. And we're putting in this literal. So it's a literal of the task interface, an object literal. It has an ID of 1, a title, description is complete. Same thing for the second one, just different, build a project, create a task manager app, yada, yada. So now we're going to print console log tasks added and manager list task. So I'm going to run npm run build and npm run start. And there you go. We're seeing tasks added, learn TypeScript incomplete. See, we have put this in, and then it runs this piece of beautiful code, and it uses the for each that we've covered in a previous episode. And it just lists the ID, the title, and is complete yes or no. Well, basically complete or incomplete by its Boolean value. So we've done that, and that's how far we are now. We have added tasks to the task manager, and we've listed all those tasks. And the goal of the task manager is to manage all the tasks. I know some people in the programming world hate the word manager because it's very general and you can just stuff anything in there what you want. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're going with task manager. Now, onto that, we're going to mark a task as complete. So we're going to take a little bit of the code that I wrote, and we're doing manager.mark complete. And then we're using the ID, which is 1. And then we're going to console log all the updated tasks. So run build. Now, first of all, it all was incomplete, right? All the tasks that we used were incomplete. Now that we've updated them, one is complete, the first one, because we used ID 1. This is ID 1. And then what does your code do? It runs find. It checks if there is any task in our array that has ID 1. Then it says is complete equals true. Otherwise, it says console log task with ID blah, 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 not found. And then it lists all the tasks again. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to extend on the task interface. So we're going to extend on it, and we're going to do this. We have a priority task, extends task. Now you see our task manager wants anything that is of type task, but this extends of type task, so it's still a task. And then we're going to create some new beautiful stuff. So here we have created a priority manager. It's a new task manager that we have created. So it's not this one. We're not using manager anymore. We're using the priority manager, and the priority manager has a priority task. And what is a priority task? It basically extends everything that task has, but we have added a property of type priority, which has low, medium, or high as its values. So what we're going to do is add with the priority manager. We have it here. It's everything is of type priority. We're adding a task, and this one has priority high, and this one has priority medium. And let's run off this code, npm run build and npm run start. So here the priority task is fix bugs, incomplete, code review. So we've listed all the tasks. So now what we've done is we have created the new priority manager, and it still works. So it lists the task, everything works beautifully, but we've used a different type, but the type is still of type task. And the thing is, what we cannot do, because only here we only know about task, right? So anything has to adhere to type task. That's why we can ask stuff like task that is complete and task whatsoever. So we can't use the priority, unfortunately. Now, for our exercise, I want you to add filters. So basically, and let me copy that. So the task here is add a method to the task manager class to filter tasks based on their completion status. Pause here, try it out, and then we're going to review the solution. All right. So now the solution is pretty simple, or at least for some people it will be hard. But basically what we have done is we use the filter method on the array that we have, and we filter everything that is complete. And then we get a separate new array with everything that is complete. So that's it. That's this piece of code, and that's what it does. And now what we can do is take our code, see all the incomplete tasks. We filter tasks on completeness, so it's either complete or incomplete. Then we run it. And now we have filtered out all the false ones, so the ones that are incomplete. And now if we do this, we see everything that is completed. And that's on the manager itself. And now we can also do the same thing on the priority manager. Build. And we have no incomplete tasks here, or we have no complete tasks here. I'm sorry, because nothing here is true, right? Now, if you go with false, see, here we print the priority, because what this method does is just return the array and we print its results. So both of them are false, and that's how it prints it. So now, in this episode, we have combined classes, interfaces, generics, and functions to build a task manager app. We have also used the advanced array methods like find, filter, for each, and all of that beautiful functional code. This project highlights the power and flexibility of TypeScript in creating reusable, scalable, and type-safe code. Now, this was it for the tutorial. It's a super basic tutorial that I've crafted here for you guys to show you the basics and the beginner levels of TypeScript, but we even went up a little bit to generics and to build our own little task manager. Now, the task manager, of course, doesn't have a web interface, but if you want to, you could just build some HTML around it and use this code to build your own beautiful task manager, which is clickable through some HTML and some TypeScript. Now, I really want to thank you if you followed all the way through from the beginning all the way to the end to build our beautiful task manager app. If you did, and if you liked it, please be sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and click the bell button. And I hope you have enjoyed my tutorial here. It's the first tutorial that I ever made, so I don't know if I did well. Let me know if I did well in the comments. Have a great day, happy coding, and see you in the next tutorial. And thank you so much for watching.